Have you ever heard of the word speciesism and wondered what it means? Speciesism is the widely held belief that humans are superior to animals. Scholar Peter Singer, author of the 1975 book Animal Liberation, defines it as a prejudice or bias in favor of the interests of members of one's own species and against those of members of other species. Singer's Animal Liberation is regarded as the foundation for the animal rights movement and has inspired millions of people to make an ethical shift away from animal products.
They think that something that affects human beings is necessarily more important than something that affects non-human animals. And this is the question that I think needs to be challenged at the fundamental philosophical level.
Speciesism is how society justifies its use of animals as commodities, whether that's through the food we eat, the clothes we wear, or our choice of entertainment. But how did it all happen? The relationship between humans and animals dates back thousands of years. Ancient humans also had a very different relationship with animals than we do today. According to the book Cherokee History, Myths, and Sacred Formulas by James Mooney, every life was seen as sacred. Hunters prayed for their animals, killed only when needed, and used every part of an animal. Bones were fashioned into tools, dishes, and weapons. Entrails could be made into water containers or cooking vessels. Hides and fur helped protect people from cold weather. They were used to create dwelling structures, clothing, and footwear. Without animals to plow fields, agriculture may not have advanced at the rate that it has. Horseback riding helped advance year-round transcontinental postal systems, helping people stay in touch with each other even if they lived hundreds of miles apart. Our relationship with horses also helped us to travel far distances until the assembly line allowed for mass production of Ford's Model T, popularizing horseless carriages. By the middle of the 20th century, however, humans had mostly transitioned away from its hunting days and toward the industrialization of animals. Factory farming was invented in the 1960s to increase production while cutting costs. Today, factory farming kills 150 million animals for food around the world every day. It is viewed as an efficient way to feed the growing global population. As a result of factory farming, meat became and is still a cheap, readily available source of protein. But as plant-based meat becomes more realistic,
I'm not sure. That one tastes like vegan chicken as well.
They both tasted
exactly
really the same,
yeah.
Like very hard to tell.
It was very hard to tell.
It may soon also become more efficient to produce it. Just like the Model T was a horse without a carriage, brands are showing that we can have meat without the animal. Beef from certain farms is considered better than factory farm-raised meat. Eggs from cage-free hens are seen as the more ethical option.
Well, look out, world. Me and the girls are going out. The sun's shining down, so we're gonna shake and shout.
Both choices still result in the commodification of animals.
Every cow out here has its own personality. There's no one cow that's alike. Not even the moms and babies. There's 32 cows and calves out here, and basically once they hit 5 months old, they'll be transferred in and weaned from their moms, and the moms will have an 85-day break and put back with a bull to be bred again.
We laud forms of entertainment that fully exploit the power we have over animals, like dogfights. But others, like horse races, are still seen as part of our cultural heritage. Circuses were once one of the most popular forms of entertainment, where families could see exotic animals like elephants, lions, and tigers performing stunning tricks. But in May 2017, the Ringling Brothers Circus, one of the most well-known in the world, shut down for good due to falling attendance and protests against animal cruelty. SeaWorld is experiencing a similar struggle since the 2013 documentary Blackfish revealed the mental toll captivity takes on orca whales. People continue to justify the exploitation of animals in a number of ways. One of the most common arguments you'll hear is, "We've always done it that way." And that's true. Humans have eaten meat, dairy, and eggs for a long time. But it also has evolved from eating carrion to developing our own hunting skills to raising livestock. History has taught us that if we stuck to the way things were, slavery would still exist, marriage equality wouldn't be legal, and women wouldn't be able to vote, let alone run for president. Humans have evolved their diet over thousands of years. It's naive to think that evolution has stopped, and with plants creating safer, healthier, and even cheaper meat, eggs, and dairy options, there's no question that our diet is about to experience a massive shift away from animal exploitation. You might also hear religious reasons for perpetuating speciesism. In Genesis 1:26, the Bible says, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." But dominion doesn't mean tyranny. In the Bible, God even encourages Adam and Eve and every animal on the planet to eat vegan. In Genesis 1:29 through 30, then God said, "Behold, I have given you every seed-bearing plant on the earth, of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit contains seed. They will be yours for food. And to every beast of the earth, and every bird of the air, and every creature that crawls upon the earth, everything that has breath of life in it, I have given every green plant for food." There are also numerous passages in the Bible that are frowned upon in today's day and age, like bans on wearing mixed fabrics, stoning disobedient children to death, and the belief that gay people are an abomination. People also say that speciesism is justified because animals are so different from us. Animals don't look like us or communicate like us. Others bring up intelligence and the capacity for language. Animals aren't as smart as us, so it's okay to commodify their bodies. But animals are intelligent. Research shows that pigs are the 5th most intelligent animal in the world, even smarter than dogs. They have excellent long-term memory, can solve simple puzzles and mazes, and feel empathy toward their fellow animals. Chickens, despite their reputation for being dumb, can perform simple arithmetic including counting, can remember more than 100 faces, and they can even remember that objects out of sight exist, which is beyond the capacity of a 2-year-old child. Regardless, should someone's intelligence level dictate how respectfully we treat them? This kind of speciesism has worked its way into practically all aspects of life, and a few examples highlight it extraordinarily well. Most of us know the 1952 book Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. The classic children's story features a pig named Wilbur, who is born on a farm where animals are raised for meat. Born the runt of the litter, Wilbur is saved from being killed by Fern Arable, the farmer's daughter, who loves him like a pet.
If I'd been born small, would you have killed me?
Of course not. A little girl is one thing. A runny pig is another.
There's no difference. This is unfair and unjust. How could you be so heartless?
But when Wilbur gets bigger, the farmer intends to send him to slaughter. Wilbur befriends a spider named Charlotte, who spins webs with messages praising Wilbur. Charlotte's webs catch the attention of locals, then the county fair. It's the people's love for Wilbur that saves him from slaughter. The 1995 film, Babe, based on the 1983 book, The Sheep Pig by Dick King Smith, also features a pig as the main character. Babe is an orphan piglet purchased at a county fair by farmer Arthur Hoggett. Babe comes home and is placed under the care of Fly and Rex, 2 border collies with puppies. Babe blends humor and drama for genuine moments that made many viewers question the exploitation of animals.
I'm not sure if you realize how much the other animals are laughing at you.
It's not a duck that thinks it's a rooster, it's a pig that thinks it's a dog.
You should accept what he is and be thankful for it.
The piglet comforts Fly when the farmers sell her puppies off, highlighting how the breeding industry separates animal families for profit. And it has frank moments about using animals for food. A duck named Ferdinand that Babe meets early on crows like a rooster in the morning, hoping that it makes him useful enough to avoid being slaughtered for food.
Humans don't eat cats. Why?
Well,
they're
they're
indispensable. They catch mice. Humans don't eat roosters. Why? They make eggs with the hens and wake everyone up in the morning.
Right.
I tried it with the hens, it didn't work. So I turned to crowing, and lo, I discover my gift. But no sooner do I become indispensable than they bring in a machine to do the job. Oh, the treachery of it.
Even Babe himself is at risk of becoming a roast. The farmer's wife considers him for Christmas dinner, until she is reminded by Farmer Hoggett that it might be profitable to save him until he can be shown at a county fair. Terrified of being killed, Babe teaches himself how to herd sheep in hopes that the farmer will find him useful and let him live. At one point, Babe learns from the farmer's cat that humans eat pigs.
You know why pigs are here?
Why are any of us here?
Well, The cow's here to be milked, the dogs are here to help the boss's husband with the sheep, and I'm here to be beautiful and affectionate to the boss. Yes? The fact is that pigs don't have a purpose, just like ducks don't have a purpose.
I don't
Oh,
really...
all right, for your own sake, I'll be blunt. Why do the bosses keep ducks? To eat them.
So frightened, he runs away and is too depressed to even eat. His faith in humans is restored when Farmer Hoggett rescues and spends time with him. It ends with Babe winning a sheep herding contest, earning the respect of Farmer Hoggett, and concluding with the famous quote,
"That'll do, pig. That'll do."
The film painted a more empathetic portrait of animals, from those raised for food to dogs separated from their puppies. It had a lasting impact for many. Nathan Nobis, a professor of philosophy, wrote in his paper, The Babe Vegetarians, Bioethics, Animal Minds, and Moral Methodology, that the film inspired many, mostly teenage girls, to go vegetarian. It's known as the Babe Effect. James Cromwell, who played Farmer Hoggett, became an ethical vegan activist as a result of his role in the movie.
And then went to Australia to do this film with these extraordinary animals. And every day at midday, whenever lunch was, I'd go and on the table would be every animal that I had just worked with being served for lunch. We have to stop animal agriculture. We simply cannot slaughter billions of animals every year with the cruelty and the suffering and the waste involved in that.
There's also Chicken Run, the 2000 stop-motion animation film from DreamWorks and Aardman Studios, the studio that created Wallace and Gromit. The movie takes place on an egg farm and stars a group of hens led by Ginger. The farm's owner, Mrs. Tweedy, is frustrated with the lack of profits from eggs and invests in a killing machine to turn the chickens into pies. The chickens become determined to escape, and Ginger builds an actual plane so that they can escape. During the grand escape, they even sabotage the machine built to kill them. Right up until the end, they're able to hide their plan from Mrs. Tweedy, who dismisses them as dumb birds and commodities. These are just a few instances of farm animals in leading roles. The popular British animated show Peppa Pig is also reportedly having the Peppa effect on some of its younger viewers, who don't want to eat meat that comes from the same animal as their favorite TV characters. The empathy audiences can feel for fictional animals while dismissing or ignoring horrors the same animals suffer is just one example of how speciesism has permeated modern culture. The films show cartoon animals as having rich, complex social and personal lives. They have wants and needs, experience happiness and sadness. They can be content or they can suffer. Their fears of being killed aren't so different from reality. In recent years, the media has picked up stories of animals escaping slaughter. One of the most high-profile cases was Brianna, a cow who escaped a slaughterhouse truck and ended up in Skylands Animal Sanctuary in New Jersey.
But as long as everything checks out, Brianna will have a long life ahead of her here at the sanctuary.
You know, a life of leisure. She's got it easy now.
When the escaped bovine gave birth to her calf, it was covered by People and CNN. A more recent example happened in New York City. An escaped calf found on the expressway near Yankee Stadium was rescued. He was named Major Deegan after the road he was captured on and sent to the Animal Care Center in Harlem. He was sent to Skylands but passed away from medical complications shortly after. A spokeswoman for the Animal Care Center explained that sending escaped animals to sanctuaries is the standard practice. But if slaughterhouses ask, which they rarely do, the animal is returned because they're considered property. There are clear divides between which animals we see as acceptable to eat and those we don't that highlight how problematic that way of thinking can be. In the West, it's normal to eat cows, pigs, and chickens, but we speak out against the consumption of cats and dogs in South Korea and China because we keep these animals as pets. Dr. Melanie Joy highlights this in her 2009 book, Why We Love Dogs, Eat Pigs, and Wear Cows. When our attitudes and behaviors towards animals are so inconsistent and this inconsistency is so unexamined, we can safely say we have been fed absurdities. It's absurd that we eat pigs and love dogs and don't even know why. Most of us spend long minutes in the aisle of a drugstore mulling over what toothpaste to buy, yet most of us don't spend any time at all thinking about what species of animal we eat and why. We love our cats and dogs for the companionship they bring, the way they learn their names, learn tricks, and show us affection. We're familiar with the way they, like humans, express their emotions. We know that our dog is happy when their tail is wagging, and we know that when our cat's ears are back, they're upset. But cows, pigs, and chickens can also learn their names. They feel fear, they get annoyed, and they express joy, just like the pets we love and just like us. Instead of using what makes us different to divide us, looking at what unites us as Earthlings is where our real power lies, no matter what species we are.